every week.
Oprah. Would you like something to drink?
Yeah, right.
So, I welcome Ashleigh Wilson to an artist talk. Where do you come from?
I'm originally from Cape Town. I grew up in Cape Town and I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa.
And since when are you in Berlin?
I've been in Berlin only since about July, and before that I was in Dresden. And as a whole, I left South Africa at 20, so just 2 years I've been away from home.
Right. And you are a dancer?
I'm a dancer. I went to a normal academic school. I was interested in other things. I didn't go to ballet school, but I became a dancer at 18 officially. I started training formally and I started falling in love late in life, more towards my 20s. Yeah.
Falling in love
With dancing.
Okay.
I think usually what happens is the bug bites really young and you go to ballet school and you have an entire life dedicated.
Yeah.
But for me it happened really late and I feel like it's a much deeper love for me because it's kind of struck me at a late age.
How did it happen?
Well, yeah, it was a single point. I was watching someone dance and she had this amazing grace. She looked from another world and I just thought to myself in a moment, I just said, I want to dance like that. 1 second, and I followed through with that. I started training with her and looking up to her and learning from her, and now we're great friends actually. Really.
That's cool. And you went also to a school afterwards then later when you started at 18. Who did you train with?
Well, it was a private teacher. He lived in Zurich in Belgium. He was a great dancer and Euro principal, and he came back to South Africa and was teaching a few kids, almost 6 at the most at a time, in a small studio, and he was always producing the best students but with the least facilities and with the least students also.
Can you talk a little bit about your relationship and your experience in the ballet class?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great learning experience. I was really stimulated actually intellectually because he teaches with great detail, and then I just saw my body changing and my posture, and everything grew at such an exponential rate because I was spending 12 hours a day. So everything grew a lot, and my experience with that was just like, what's going on? You know, this is crazy. And it was beautiful to see the other students do the same. Yeah.
Have you become friends with those students?
Yeah, and we're family, much more than friends. When you want to cry for them because they're in so much pain. And when you see them now later, what they've done with their lives, not all of them dance, but they use now such discipline. And yeah, we are a family all over the world.
That's nice. I have a few experiences myself in a ballet class. You were really like a family? There was not this competition thing?
At first, yes, but I think after time you grow a great love for your competitor or your rival. And even though we did compete a lot and there was a lot of anxiety at times and criticism, in the end it was never nasty. It was never mean-spirited. It was actually with love. And we used to criticize each other in front of each other as a way to understand each other, and that really made us all have open relationships with each other. I never experienced this bitch in the class, or the one who just wants to run over everyone, as some ballet dancers have that.
Yeah, it does happen.
And it's portrayed in films, and it's it's common knowledge. But for me, it was never like that. I was lucky.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And about the pain, but what is your relationship with this trainer, to this man today?
Well, I think he really inspired me a lot. He motivated me. And I think now he really, having seen students grow so much from really almost nothing to getting into a European company in Germany, that growth is almost like your own child. Mm-hmm. So now I do see him as a father figure in a way, and he sees me as a child figure.
Yeah.
But I think the special relationship that ballet dancers have with their trainers is very interesting and quite unique.
Do you find it close to this master-disciple?
Absolutely, 100%. And they guide you.
Well, bounce onto a spiritual question. You practice Buddhism?
Yeah.
Does that help you in your work? How do you live as an artist?
Well, I think the first things it helps me with is my own being, and from that, if my own being is helped, I think it melts into work, into personal life, into relationships, into all those aspects. So has it helped me with my work, my dancing? Absolutely. And it's interesting to see where that can go, because I never realized the potential before, how great it is. Yeah.
What's your dream as a dancer? Do you have some goals today?
Well, I think for me they're constantly changing. I'm not one of those normal girls who grows up wanting to be the star. For obvious reasons that will never happen. But I think my goals and my dreams all going towards expanding myself and really pushing myself. And I don't know where my boundaries are because I'm breaking them down all the time.
Yeah.
So I think just going to my maximum is my goal. I don't have any position, any company, any style. It's just to go wherever I think I can go with the time that I have.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And she was worried about you, what she was going to say. Do you practice other forms of artistic performance or painting? Did you draw as a child?
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed art. I played the violin. I was always in a very cultural family. And I think I had an appreciation for all the arts. From drawing to music to singing, I was always exposed to great things. So my interest kind of melts over, definitely. I made a painting for my brother, and that was nice. Something new for me. I did painting. So yeah, definitely.
And the music, ballet is obviously very linked to classical music or contemporary, but do you have music that you prefer, that you really like, the music that really inspires you to dance?
I have to say we're very lucky as ballet dancers to have always exquisitely composed music in our ears. So I would have to say I enjoy all kinds, from hip-hop to techno to everything, but I would have to say an inspiring piece to dance to is always classical, always. And I often like it when it's recognizable. It's cool as well, yeah.
You did the Swan Lake. In what circumstances? Because I know we worked together on something, but can you say where you played in Germany since you come?
With Swan Lake specifically?
Yeah. Well, I was just curious, but the rest as well.
Well, when I got into Semper Opera, I was basically a student, kind of in the company, and I learned everything firsthand from every aspect of the job, every aspect of the work, how it all works, because in South Africa we don't have an example. And Dresden's an interesting company because each dancer is completely an individual, and that was something I didn't actually think would be possible. And I think that made me, allowed me to learn something about my art from each individual, because they each had something different. And that was always inspiring, because then I thought to myself, well, what do I have to bring to the individuality, to the group? And I think very few companies are like that in the world. And in Germany it's great because they have a wonderful welcoming sense to foreign dancers. A couple of my friends, they're South Africans and they work in Germany, and in often countries you have only the French working in French companies, only the Flemish. And in Germany they're so welcoming with all sorts of nationalities and backgrounds and trainings, and they're open to that.
They like to mix.
Yes. And that's interesting.
Is there a choreographer you've worked with that's been more important in your career?
Well, I can speak of a choreographer in South Africa, Tacheles. She was a dancer herself with my trainer as well, and she had a fantastic career. And she's this tall black girl, and she's got such a presence in the room. And when she started choreographing, she realized that was her calling. And with someone who put so much passion into the choreography, I just felt like when I did a piece of hers, there was such an emotional connection. And often in choreography, especially working in a ballet company, it's position with no emotion. And with this, it was completely different. The root of a choreography is emotion. And so you can really feel that when you dance it, as opposed to absolutely none. And as a dancer, this is what you search for, I think. To have an emotional connection to the choreography. To let it speak through you, as opposed to just imitate it.
Do you think when you dance?
I do. Sometimes I have performances when I'm like, oh my god, what time did the tram leave? You know, I have no more thoughts. And other times, I think when you're a dancer, there's something that happens. It's a natural high, and you think about nothing.
Okay.
But you do the steps, and everything's just going, and you just have an absolute nothingness. Some dancers experience that.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only moment I don't think.
That's the high for me. Yeah. When I'm thinking about nothing.
Do you want to stay in Germany? How long? Would you have plans?
Yeah.
What's your next step? What are you working in the next months?
I'm hoping to stay. It's not easy for a South African to be overseas. I have really huge problems with my visa. So as long as the authorities allow me to stay, I will be here. Honestly, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how long that will be for, but I'm working with a couple of different companies, small companies, mostly show ballet, mostly fun galas, that kind of thing. And so I've got some contracts that are more long-term, that will save me in those tough months. And one of them's a live television show, which is also cool, you know. And so I'm doing some interesting stuff, and I get a lot of short-term random projects. When I performed in Tacheles, it was something I'd never done before, and I'd never expected. And I did a piece in Hauptbahnhof, which was just magical with the space and whatever. And so I'm totally looking forward to whatever is coming. I don't even know. Yeah.
You talked a little bit about Tacheles. Can you talk about Tacheles, your experience here?
Well, I'd come in as a tourist before and taking photos and, you know, looking around like, oh God, these people are crazy, you know. And then I came back now 6 months later, and I feel like, you know, I'm one of those crazy people.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, the people I've met, the experiences I've had, honestly, this place has got so much color. It's not only on the walls with the graffiti and everything, it's in the air. And I come into Tacheles and I always feel good, you know, always. Walking up the stairs, you get to the top and you're like, yes, I did it again.
Fourth floor.
Yeah, fourth floor. And so I'm enjoying Tacheles in the day, Tacheles in the night, Tacheles when I'm happy, Tacheles when I'm sad, you know. And I think there's very few spaces like that, not only in Berlin, but in the world. So,
that's true. That's true. It's good you say it.
Yeah.
What does it change for you to be young, not in the set, to know that you have so much to go further? How do you see that? How do you see your future?
Well, I think, you know, I try and live in the present, because if you focus on what you're doing now, you'll always do a better job than if you're spreading your energy into the future and the past. I really try and put my energy in now, but I think the future is going to be interesting for me. I've already lived a very curvy life.